Today we're finishing a 3D shot without ever leaving Blender's viewport. Most artists think that to get a professional look, you have to export your frames, send them to like Photoshop or After Effects. You can actually stay right here and do it all. But the truth is, Octane's built-in AOV Compositor is actually faster, non-destructive, and if you set it up right, it actually can make some amazing looks. I've used this exact node stack to turn noisy flat renders into portfolio ready shots in under 5 minutes without leaving Blender. I'm going to show you my frosting method, how I mix raw and denoise passes for detail, how to layer bloom, chromatic aberration, and my secret S-curve setup for that punchy cinematic contrast. My name is Patrick LeVar. I've been using Blender for the last 6 years, teaching everything I know, giving it out here on this YouTube channel for free. If this is something you may be into, consider hitting that subscribe button. Anyways, enough of this jibber jabber. Let's get straight into the video. So I'm just going to quickly go through the process of how I would do some quick compositing inside of Octane. So what I basically do here is I'm going to jump over to the Compositing tab. I've kind of got my light and everything generally where I want it. Now I'm just going to add that frosting on top. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go into my Octane Compositor, and you need to make sure you have that set up by just hitting quick nodes, and I got it right here. Now one thing you need to make sure is you turn it on also, because the viewport won't be active. So like for example here, if you come over here, you're going to see that I've got my AOV tag here. So this means now I will see the AOV. Future me, guys, I made a mistake here. You do need to have the active AO tree selected, which is the one I want to be working on. But to view that active tree, you need to go to here. Preview, render pass. Right now I have it set to denoise, meaning we're only going to see the denoise pass. You need to change that to AOV output. And now whatever we do in Octane's Compositor, AOV Compositor, we will see those results in the viewport. And also you need to make sure that you come down to your AOV group right here, and you're basically going to put this into there. So if I come here, you'll see that if I click on that, that's what it is. And then boom, now I basically activated the compositing section of the Octane render. But what I'll do from here, I have a denoiser connected to it, kind of just like a placeholder denoiser. So what I'm going to do is connect this up properly. So for example, I'll go ahead and kill that really fast. And then I'm going to click on this, add in a Octane, layer group, because I'm going to group a bunch of layers together. And it's going to be using the denoiser. So one thing I want to do is take a copy of this image. This is the actual render, the beauty pass here. I want to take that beauty pass. I want to plug that into layer 1. So I'm basically seeing just a one-to-one dirty pass. And then I'm going to add an input. And then what I'm going to do is going to put this on top. And this is going to be the clean version right here, the denoise, but it's at 100% full on. And then I want to give it its proper albedo and noise one. So what I can do is duplicate this render AOV. And what I'm going to do is jump in here and I'm going to go to denoise albedo. Go ahead and plug that into the denoise albedo. Shift duplicate this down here again. And then I'm going to plug this into the normal, and we'll change that to denoise normal. So now we've kind of got a proper setup here, and I just always check that. I got to figure out what exactly that is, but I'll just check it for now. And now what I want to do is be able to say how much of this, I want to control how much of the denoise is being added to the noise version of this render. So what I do is in slot 3, I'm just going to add in a opacity node here. So basically adjust opacity, and this is going to allow me to adjust the opacity of how much this top layer I'm adding to the bottom layer. Future me here, actually I forgot, for some reason I changed the AOV output, so we're actually only seeing the denoise pass, but further in the video I will go back and turn on the AOV pass. So I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. So for example, right now this is fully denoise. If I go to 0, we're going to see the fully noise version. This will be the fully noise version here. So you can see that we've got a little bit of noise there here, but again, I try to get my renders lit and cleanly where it doesn't have that much noise. So if I can get it lit properly where I don't see a lot of noise, it's already working. Like I got the enough proper light sources where we're not getting too many noisy areas. So I don't have to pump it as hard with this denoiser, right? So I'm literally going to probably come in here and go like about 40.4 here, or actually not 0.4. I think I'm going to go 40%. I'm going to go 40% mixed with the denoise image there on top of that. Now it is a little bit slower than normal because I'm using geometry nodes with this, and the geometry nodes are kind of heavy because we're doing some crazy subdivision going on here. So that's just a Blender thing. It's not an Octane thing. Me again, and that's one of the benefits. Even though I have a heavy geo setup, it's a little bit lagging Blender. When I'm using the Octane Compositor, it's pretty much still in real time. It definitely keeps up the speed, and that's one of the benefits of why I like using the Octane Compositor versus Blender's standard compositor, which we all know is notoriously a little bit laggy and slow. So now from here, what I want to do is give this a little bit of contrast. It's lacking a little bit of contrast here. Now, before we add the bloom and that final grade, if you're serious about mastering Octane, you shouldn't do it alone. I've built a dedicated Blender Octane community where we share node setups. Just like this one, we troubleshoot each other's renders and we help each other try to achieve that A player level. If you're tired of doing it alone, consider looking down below in the description and the link, link in the description, and I'll see you on the inside. I'm going to jump in here, and before I do the contrast, let me do my whole proper bloom and all that stuff. So I come in here, go to layer 4. Actually, no, we're not going to go to layer 4 here. I'm going to keep that separate. This is just our denoising layer setup here, okay? This is just for the denoiser right here. All of this is denoise, okay? And I just come in here and I can just group that really fast, add a frame on that, boom, okay? So now what I want to do is come back over here and I want to add in another thing to the chain. In this case, I want to add in post-processing. Here is our post-processing. We got these here, but I like to use the legacy version, which is just because I'm just comfortable with it at the moment. So what I do is pop that up here, and what I want to tell this to do is like, okay, I want the post-processing. And actually here's the camera imager, which is the exact same camera imager that I have right here. This one is the exact same thing here, right? Okay, but I don't want to use that. I just want the post-processing effect right here. So I'm just going to go post-processing, and then what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and enable that. Let's add some bloom. I always go hard the first time, go 50%. Let that come through, and it doesn't look like it's really that bad. I guess I go 100%. And up, you know what? Hang on, make sure I'm previewing the right thing here. I'm looking at the wrong slot. Sorry about that. Denoise. There we go. We got to make sure this is, I guess I didn't just switch back. AOV here. Now we're seeing the output of the AOV. Now you can see that the bloom is coming in really heavy, right? So I knew something wasn't right there. So let's back this off to 25, and then I like to come in here and just clamp on this. Let's maybe give it a clamp of 1. Yeah, not too bad. Let me go 0.5 on the clamp. All right, so I've got that going. I don't like to glare. What I do like to use is the Chromatic Aberration. I like to go 0.2 here, just a little bit on this outer edge here, just to pull that a little bit to give our lens here a little bit of some artifacting here. So very subtle on that, and that's pretty much all I'm going to do there with that. Now I want to add in some, we're going to just go ahead and frame that up just to keep everything nice and tidy. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in another one in the chain on top, and this one I'm going to add in some contrast here. So it's looking, now we got all these different options here. So I want to do, let's do contrast. Yep, as standard SRD, which is standard something. We're not gonna, so let me come in here and let's say, I'm just going to go hard first. I'm going to go 10. Yeah, that's way too much. Let me go 5. Let me go 1. Still too much. 2. Kind of liking that. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's cool. So we'll leave that in there. That's next in the chain there. And then, I don't know why I keep coming down here, and should just bring this up here. It'd be easier. Then what I'm going to do is add another one in, and I'm going to actually add a little bit of a desaturation. I like to desaturate my images a little bit just to pull them away from being so heavily perfect with CG. Let's go like slightly, maybe like 85 on this one, 85%. A little bit too much here. I'm gonna go 90 on this one. So we're not like trying, so we're making some abstract stuff here. It's nothing like photorealism or anything like that, just a little bit there. And let's see if we can see the difference. Yeah, it just pulls a little bit of punch out of that. That's all it does. I think it maybe went too much. Let's go 95. All right, and like that's what I would normally do in Photoshop. I really would just add a little contrast. I would play with the curves a little bit. Now I can't remember if I had a curve here. I don't really like to play with the gamut. Custom curve. Yeah, I see here. Custom curve. Yeah. Here we go. I probably should have just used this instead of the contrast. I'm actually going to mute the contrast, disable the contrast. Let's use the custom curve here. And where are we set at right now? Hue saturation. We got all these different modes. I'm just going to leave it here on the maximum channel. And then what I'm going to do is just come in here and drop that in there. Just our classic S curve, right? And kind of just pull that up, maybe pull that down. Oh, a little bit too much. Kind of like that. I'm kind of vibing that. All right. and see what happens if I add that contrast back in that we had. Actually not too bad. Let's actually go ahead and divide that by half. Maybe just go 0.5 on that, just to really want it to be contrasting. 0.5. There it is, done. I'm gonna leave it like that. So now what we can do is I can come back in here and just disable everything so we can kind of just see what I mean, you see how it works. The layer structure is very similar to Photoshop. Once you understand these node setups, it's very easy, and it's not like, you know, this very complicated thing. It does at first because it's unknown, but once you get everything here. So here's our base render. You can see it's noisy here. We've got some noise right there. I don't really have any super hot pixels. Ooh, dang it. I had the camera active. Lost my view. There it is. We got some noise here. Then what I did was basically add in the denoiser. Again, we're mixing about 40% of the denoise image on top of there. So that kind of cleans things up a little bit. Let me look for any hot pixels that I have. Like, not really too many hot pixels. I guess I probably could go maybe 60% on this. We'll see at the final render if there's any hot pixels. I can add a hot pixel remover. All right, so there's that. And then we come in here and we add a little bit of bloom with the post-processing. And then I come in here, I add a little bit of contrast. And then we add a little bit of desaturation, just slightly, nothing crazy. And then I add this curve here, which I probably should have used first. And there it is. Crushing that down, and let me kind of see where that comes through. Now I'm going to check this to make sure I don't have any hot pixels. It looks like we do have a little bit right here, so let's add in a hot pixel remover really fast. If I come in here in layer 7, come in here to denoise, remove hot pixels, and let's just add that to the top of the chain there, and that should really kill anything left over. This is part of the texture here, so that's not, yeah, you can see it kind of remove a lot of those right there too. All right. Boom, let's go ahead and render this out. All right, I ran 1,000 samples on that, and that took about 52 seconds. And right now you're not seeing the AOV, you're just seeing the standard beauty. So if we come into composite, view layers, combine, again, here's our beauty layer, which we were looking at. Here is just our denoised image right there. And if we scroll down here, you see the AOV output, boom. That's what we did inside of the AOV editor right there. So I'm happy with that. We had a little noisy patch down here. That looks like it's pretty clean. Definitely can get away with that. It's not too bad at all. Just anywhere else looking in here for any noisy stuff. I think it's a pretty clean render.
Now that you know how to use Photoshop Logic and finish your render, you need to apply this same power to materials. I just released a video where I cracked the code a 100% procedural style material system using this exact same node stacking philosophy that we would use in Photoshop. If you want textures that never break or they look photorealistic at any resolution, take a look at this next video and I'll see you there.